Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we are going to have a look at EndeavourOS, and what we're going to do here is we're going to start the installation, and then while it's installing, we are going to go over its website. So we've downloaded the live version, which is going to boot us into an XFCE desktop with an installer. And so without much further ado, what we are going to do is boot into this guy, and then we will come back and have a look at their website and all of the goodies that they have over there. So let's head on over here. So here is, we have just booted this into our virtual machine. Our virtual machine has, I think I've given it 4 processing cores, 6 gigs of RAM, and 256 megabytes of video memory. So we can boot the existing OS, boot Endeavour, and then there's just other stuff as well. So we're just going to boot into Endeavour. So this is going to land us on an XFCE desktop that is actually wonderfully customized. It's not just raw out of the box. It is nicely customized. And when we boot into there, we'll just kind of have a look that there's a minimal amount of software, and there is an installer and a partitioner directly on the desktop, so we can actually go ahead and partition our disks and things like that. Okay, so here we are. We are on XFCE, and we have installed, well, this guy up here in the upper corner. We have our volume here, and then there's not a lot of stuff here. So we have Firefox installed, just kind of some basic tools with XFCE. We have some development stuff, some cute things. We have CMake, icon browsers. Really not much of anything here. So very minimal. All right, so we have read information, and there's offline information that they have directly on the desktop itself in a text file, so you can actually read through all of this, or you can go right to their website. You can come over here, partition, and install. Now we do have this create partitioner, which is going to boot up Gpart. We actually don't have to do anything in here as long as you're just, this has the Calamaris installer. We can actually use the partitioner built into the Calamaris installer. If you did want to do something very specific or very custom, you could come in here and create your partitions. We actually don't have to use that step. So if you're booting up and you're like, oh, I don't know how to create partitions, don't worry about it. The installer will not have a problem. So we're going to go ahead and install it. So basically what we're going to have here is an Arch installer that is going to give us an Arch with a customized XFCE. And then we have a few extra steps that we'll see on the website. So here's our welcome, choosing our language. American English is good for me. I don't think Swahili. Oh, wait, Swahili might be in there, but I might get lost. I'm not that good, you know. So come over here. It's going to select a time zone. New York is just fine for me. Keyboard, US English. So that is good. Now here is where I said we don't actually need to do anything. If you need to do manual partitioning, you can also do it in here. We'll just go ahead and erase the disk. You can select if there's a swap or not. I don't need a swap, so we're going to do that. Now, I've actually already installed this to test it, but we are going to run the installer again because I want to show you what it looks like right out of the box. All right, so what is your name? Let's just do STL. And I think I might have accidentally hit my caps lock. I did. Oh boy, that would have caused a mess. Let's do STL, STL. And then we're going to, we're not going to log in automatically. We are going to use the same password for the administrative account. We're going to summarize everything, and we are installing now, which is going to run your partitions. And it failed my partition. All right, let's go ahead and do something with our partitions. That does happen on the Calamaris installer every once in a while. If it does, just wipe your partition and be fine with it. Apply, wiping our partition. So, hey, I want to give you the real experience. First time I installed it, I did not have to do that. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Now that we've just wiped the partition, we should then be able to do it. So, hey, maybe that's why it's there, right? Let's go and just set everything back up again. See if it works this time. Hey, now it's working. All right, so hey, if you do run into that error, just boot that partition creator up, wipe the whole thing out, and go. So, all right, every now and again that happens. So, hey, I like to show you the real world life. I don't want to edit stuff out, so well, other than, you know, weird little stuff. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let that do its thing. And now we're going to jump on over to our website and have a look at our website. So this is at EndeavourOS.com. This is built on a WordPress, probably powered by WordPress. Hopefully they keep it up to date. So we basically just have some basic information. Now, some of the things here is they do tell us here 10 desktops environments to choose from. We have base, i3, OpenBox. I did not see instructions for installing those. And if I'm going to be a noob to Arch or to Endeavour, know a little bit about Linux, I'd like to see a little bit more about those. We do have installation instructions for Mate, XFCE. We don't because that's the default. We have Cinnamon, GNOME, Deepin, and Budgie, and KDE Plasma are all in there. So basically what we're going to do is we grabbed the download page, and the download page, you just want to come over here and click on this guy here. It's not the most user-friendly page. I didn't know exactly where to grab it. I had to look at it for a little bit. So clicking on this guy, download it. We also have the SourceForge as well, so you can download from each of these. It'd be better probably if they created a little button to say, hey, get from GitHub, get from SourceForge. We do have the installer tips, and we have the signatures here, so you can verify your ISO. So all that is good stuff that we have. Now, their thing is that they want to be a friendlier Arch installer because the Arch community does have a reputation for kind of being jerks. You ask a simple question and you get RTFM. Yeah, how about your manual ain't clear? Okay, it's a criticism some people might have. So they actually wanted to put together a system that has a better community, and I can't vouch for how the community is. If you guys have used their community, then let me know. This is it on their website. It's just forum.EndeavourOS.com. So we do have a couple little things there. Now, if you want to install extra desktops, and we're going to go back into this page, and you can actually just go right on and install it the way you would install it with any other desktop environment, but they do give you all of the steps right here, all the commands that you would need to install the different desktop environments. So we're going to go ahead and install some of these and see what we get. So other than that, we basically just have an Arch installer that lands us with a good XFCE, and we'll check if the other desktops are actually configured as well. All right, so with that, I think we're going to go ahead and pause the video here, and we will come back when the installation is done. Okay, so we have landed on our login screen. So, of course, on this particular login screen, if you want to change your desktop environments, we only have XFCE right now. It's in the upper right-hand corner. We have some accessibility options. We have some shutdown options, things like this, and we have language selectors. So let's go ahead and just log on in and have a look at what our system looks like. Now, the thing about this, why might you use this? Well, if you wanted to get started with Arch, then this is actually a good choice. If you are looking for some degree of user friendliness, then it's probably not going to be the distro for you. We do not have anything like Pamac or any other graphical installer on here. We do actually have one tool, though, that does cause us to stand out, and that is we have down here, we have a automatic upgrade check. I forget the name of this one. But what it does is this guy here is going to always be pinging and checking for upgrades, and it's going to give you a notification if there's an upgrade. You can pause the automatic checks. You can run an upgrade simulation to make sure there's no issues or conflicts. You can upgrade the system here. So that is actually an option that you have. So this is Kalu is what it's called. I think it's, I forget what it stands for. It says it up here somewhere. But this guy here is your updater. So that is actually a good, nice feature this has. It's just a nice graphical updater. We don't have anything else that it has. There's no other way to check what our things are. Here's a task manager. I did not find this one super useful, but HTOP is installed, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, I do like this terminal. However, it is a little bit difficult to read like this, so let's just go ahead to the appearance, and let's just go ahead and add just a little bit. I like some transparency, but let's just go ahead and make it a little bit darker there so we can actually read that. So here we are, HTOP. So it looks like we are running on 472 megabytes. And very nice system. So it is running quite nicely. So let's just go ahead and exit the terminal and see what we have in here. Again, it is a customized XFCE. We do have the whisker menu here, so you can increase, decrease the size of this guy to your liking. We also, if we right click, we do have the applications menu put in on the context menu on the site as well. Web browser, I believe is this Firefox or is this? I know Firefox is on here, but I actually think there's 2 different web browsers installed. Let's have a look. Oh, that is Firefox. Okay, that is booting Firefox. All right. Let's go ahead and shut you down, close you, and let's just go ahead and have a look at what is installed in the system by default. All right, so under our accessories, we have basic things, archive managers, leaf pad notes, just some basic tools. Thunar file manager system, XF burn, so for CD burning. We have an icon browser, an image viewer. We have Firefox, GFTP, transmission. So not a whole lot of stuff, which is actually very good. A lot of people, particularly running Arch, don't want a lot of stuff because you want to be able to come in here. You use Arch because you want to build and customize your system. So this is kind of what we get by default. But what we're going to do here is let's just show you how you can easily add new desktop managers. So let's just go ahead and search for our website. I think it's EndeavourOS.com, right? Hopefully I spelled that right. Yes, I did indeed. So of course, if you just go ahead and check in their wiki, they're going to show you how you can install different desktop environments. So let's just go ahead and do that. And if you come over here, here's your basic commands. If you are new to Pacman, then it just gives you some basic commands down here. Fortunately, since I run Arch on one of my other systems, I know enough about Pacman to be dangerous, but probably not enough to be an expert. All right, so if you want to install GNOME, just run these 2 steps. It's going to install GNOME. And you can select your settings here. So if we like Deepin, we can install Deepin there. I find Deepin to be exciting, but I mean, it gets boring for me after a while. I do like Budgie. So what we're going to do is we're going to install it here. So let's just go ahead and paste this guy in. Now, pasting into a terminal, it's Shift Control V, not Control V. So we'll just go ahead and do this. It's going to ask for our super secret password. And then we're going to ask us, do we want to download this? So then it tells us here, Budgie doesn't have the extra package, but it is recommended that you install the GNOME group as well for a better experience. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and do that as well. We'll follow their instructions. So let's go ahead and install GNOME as well. So here we have options. Do we want to install just certain things? Do we want to install? So this, if we select everything, it's going to literally just install a bunch of different applications. You may or may not want everything or not. So you can kind of decide what you would like, what you would not like, anything like that. Let's just go ahead and, for the fun of it, let's just go ahead and say, sure, let's install everything. They do actually give us instructions on up here on how to pick what you want. So if you just want, 1 through 15 and 20, if you want to do everything except these. So they do give us steps and instructions how to actually do that. So right now it's going to be installing GNOME onto our desktop as well. In addition, it's going to be installing a lot of other packages that come with it. So extra file managers, it's going to install the Epiphany browsers there. We have Cheese, we have, just a lot of things. This is probably going to bloat the system. If you don't want to bloat your system, you definitely want to consult this and exclude certain packages. So let's see, we can also do Mate, we can do Cinnamon, we can do Plasma. So you can see that they are giving us a lot of different things. So extra packages, you can install these guys. Just to do the minimal desktop, you can just install these. So we can make this guy really bloated if you want. You can remove everything just by hitting these guys here, sudo pacman-rs. All right, so we'll go ahead and give this just a second. So it looks like it's installing Evolution now. That's good. We did not have an email client when we first looked through. Let's see if there's anything's being updated yet. Yeah, maybe I should not have selected everything. I should have just selected 1 or 2 packages. Oh well. We'll let it do its thing. It's getting there. It's running pretty quick. All right, so again, if you just head back to their wiki, they do have a lot of information, desktop managers. Of course, if you the desktop manager is on that login screen, so that will kind of determine that. I don't really care what my desktop manager is. If you really want to change your desktop manager, you can do those over here. So that's kind of up to you. I don't really care what it is as long as it works and it'll allow me to select my desktop environment and allow me to log in. That's all I really care about. So that's kind of something you need to consider for yourself. How to downgrade to a specific date, how to back up Pacman databases automatically. So you can see here they do have a lot of different things and they do have a forum. So here's how to install certain things. So printers, solid state disk trim, Samba, Bluetooth auto connect, sound problems. So you can see they actually have a lot of things. Arch user repository is set up through Yay. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video here and come back when this is done. I bit off more than I could chew with installing everything. All right, so we're back. So I also installed Cinnamon as well. So what we're going to do now is let's just go ahead and log off of the system and see if how these guys worked. So come on over here. Let's go ahead and log out. All right, so now we should be able to pull this down. We have Budgie, we have Cinnamon software rendering. We do have GNOME because that was installed because when we installed Budgie, of course. Let's go ahead and check out Cinnamon first. So let's go ahead and do that. See if this actually works. All right, so of course it dropped us back into software rendering mode just because we were, we're on a virtual machine and we don't have any proprietary drivers in. So here we have Cinnamon seems to be running just fine. We have, here's that terminal there. There should be some extra terminals we have as well. Let's just go ahead and, so here's the XFCE ones, our pretty one with our transparency. All right, so we have now we have Cinnamon up and running. Of course, everything is kind of there. We do now have a software installer that came with GNOME. So now we have a software installer. If you were looking for one, woohoo! We got one with GNOME. So no applications found. Can we actually update this? Let's look at our software. Oh, there's no repositories. Okay, need to set this guy up. I'll have to look into how I can add software repositories to GNOME Software Center. I don't actually know how to do that. I actually hate GNOME Software Center. But anyway, that works out. So let's go ahead and let's log out. Let's check out our theming's pretty ugly on that one. They didn't give us any good specific theming. Of course, we can go in there and change those. Let's have a look at Budgie. Boot this guy in. Here we got Budgie. So theming on Budgie looks a little bit nicer at least. So we have a nice semi-transparent, good setup here with Budgie. So of course, this is all working out just great. I did notice I do get kind of these artifacts here showing up from time to time. I think that's probably related to we're in a virtual machine and we don't have any virtual machine specific drivers installed. That's my guess. I would not anticipate you'd encounter those issues on installing it on real hardware. That's kind of my thought. So this is kind of my take on this. So what do I overall think about this? Is this something that is good for us to use? So let's talk about this Endeavour in terms of two other Arch installers. One of these would be Manjaro, which is pretty close to Arch. I would say if you are fairly new to Linux and you do want to run an Arch system, you don't want to run this. You're not going to have to understand how all of your terminals and other things are going to work as well. You're going to have to drop to a terminal to do a lot of system configuration. You're going to want to do Manjaro for something like that, because Manjaro has the graphical installers. It has POMAC. It has, at times, it's a little bit more stable, although at times they've sent something out that just messes up a lot of different computers. So Manjaro, though, I still think is one of the better options if you're new to Linux. You're not as comfortable in the terminal. Manjaro is the way you want to go if you want to run an Arch system. The other one that I actually like a little bit better than this right now, the one that I'm running on my other system, is Archlabs. What I liked about Archlabs is instead of installing you directly into XFCE and then giving you instructions, the installer for Archlabs will actually allow you to pick your desktop environment and some of your applications on the start. And so you can actually jump into it already having the desktop and some of the applications that you want without having to go in and installing everything from the command line itself. So that being said, who is this for? I think it is a great distribution. I really like how easy it is to get up and running with a desktop environment, and I love that their website has the instruction set it needs to get your basic software or your desktop environment installed. It seems lacking in telling you how to install other applications. So if you want to install Evolution for your email, there's really no easy instruction set for doing that, which isn't bad, because if you're not new to Linux, that is an awesome thing. So overall, I say this is a good distribution. It's just stay away from it if you are new to Linux, if you are new to the terminal, or if you are new to Arch. If you're new to Arch, this is actually a good thing to do. Absolutely a great test, because it's going to get you into Arch, getting everything up and running without having to go through every single step. So it's going to save you a lot of time. You can get a good Arch build up out of the box without any hassle. The downside, you don't choose your desktop environment as you would with Arch or with Archlabs. Even Manjaro, you can pick your desktop environment, but Manjaro might be too noob friendly if you really want to install Arch to learn more about Linux. So overall, I think this is a great distribution. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be something that if you're a new user coming over to Linux, watching this going, that looks really cool, I'd probably stay closer to your Debian, Ubuntu families for now, just until you pick up enough. Or if you do want to jump into Arch and use a system like this, definitely steer you more towards Manjaro. Archlabs is great for the choosing the desktop environment out of the box, but otherwise, this is an awesome contender for running an Arch and getting it all set up. So that's kind of my thoughts on Endeavour. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.